will increase your efficiency 20% if you learn to do the tough things first, the ones you don't want to do.
Ray Zinn now imparts his management philosophy in Tough Things First. In this series, Zinn covers it all, from the essence of human happiness.
If you're going to make it a consistent practice of working Saturdays just because you think you've got to work 80 hours a week to be successful, you're just flat out wrong.
To the downside of venture capital.
People said, well, don't sweat the small things. Well, I guarantee if you don't sweat the small things, the big things are going to become a mess.
And the essence of entrepreneurial discipline.
Don't want to wait until you jump off the cliff to grab a parachute.
Now here's Ray Zinn, Silicon Valley's longest-serving CEO. I'm Rob Artigo, former Bay Area radio personality and your host for this edition of the Tough Things First podcast. Here with me once again is Ray Zinn, the longest-serving CEO in Silicon Valley history. Hi, Ray.
Hey, Rob. Good to be with you today.
Good to be back. This is a special edition of the podcast. It's on video, so if you are listening to it and you want to watch it, you can go to toughthingsfirst.com, find the link to this podcast, and then right next to it, it'll say, click here if you want to watch the video, and you can do that. And vice versa, if you happen to be watching it and you found us on YouTube, you can switch back and find the audio-only version, so you can listen or watch. It's up to you. So, Ray, the one thing that came up recently was something that you wrote and you'd sent me in an email, and it basically laments the idea that competition is a wonderful and important thing. This musing is fantastic because some people are afraid of competition and some people aren't. So this is what you wrote. Competition is a wonderful and important aspect of success. The main reason some hate competition is because they have to improve, and this takes extra effort. So you also make the point to embrace competition like it. You got to embrace competition. I'm misreading this. To embrace competition like it was a loved one. So if you do that, you'll be the better for it. So tell me a little bit about why competition helps drive you to success.
It really is a hallmark of what causes us to become better people is competition. I know that it sounds like a dirty word because, we have to compete against someone and that takes effort. But, we look at all the sports events that happen, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. And those are all competitions, and we enjoy watching competitions, but how many of us like to participate in it? It's because it's tough. A professional athlete, it's difficult. They have to prepare, they have to work at it. I remember Jerry Rice, when he was a neighbor of mine and played for the 49ers. He would practice like twice as long as other people. Other athletes. And because to become the best, you really have to put forth a lot of effort. And I guess basically we're lazy and we don't want to have to put out that much effort to become better. We like it to kind of be handed to us, but you can't refine yourself by accident. Refining takes work. It's like hardening steel. It's a process. When we talk about hardening, you harden steel to make it more strong, to strengthen it. So to harden ourselves is to strengthen ourselves. But we have to have a purpose. A competition has to be there to drive us to do that. And that's why I said, you got to love competition. Love it like a loved one, and embrace it, so that it becomes the hallmark of who you are. You invite competition. You want it. It's endearing. You just can't stand to be without it. That's where you should look at competition.
Well, you've always recognized the importance of competition here, and in your decades with Micrel as CEO, you seem to always have this policy that if you're producing a product, it's being manufactured and it's going to go to market. It's on its way. Well, you're already products ahead in development because you know that if you don't do it, the competition is going to do it and you'll be behind, right?
Well, staying ahead of the competition is I don't care what sport you're in. You don't want to wait till the fourth quarter to score all your points. You want to get off to a good start, and so you got to look ahead. Don't be complacent about your competition. I mean, they are there, they're real, and they're going to eat your lunch if you don't get ready for them. So having that forward-looking view of competition, and how if you don't take care of your customer, somebody else will. You got to be out there. You don't be complacent about your competition and where you see your product or service.
Yeah, it is a matter of that. It's like the corporate level or the big level there in business, is that the best offense is a good offense.
Yeah,
it's different than the thinking in sports. Going back to the individual, the micro level, and you'd see that the status quo is not progress, right? I mean, if you really want to look at yourself as an individual, if you aren't performing to compete, you're going to leave yourself behind, and eventually everything will just pass you up.
It's called performing at the highest level. I don't care what you're doing, whether you're washing dishes or whether you're vacuuming the floor or out there designing another product. You want to be at the top of your game. Do everything you do at the highest level, with the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you eat, the way you interrelate with others or interact with others. You want to be at the highest level, and that keeps you at your peak performance.
And if you're at your peak performance, or we'll wrap it up with this, and then if you do all the work, like Jerry Rice, you were talking about Jerry Rice, he worked twice as hard as everybody else, and he was twice as good as most people. So it just stands to reason that you get that result. But Jerry Rice dropped passes. The team lost games sometimes. They didn't always. I believe he was on multiple Super Bowl teams, including when they went to the championship, the 49ers, that is, went to the championship game and didn't make it to the Super Bowl that year. Sometimes so you win some, you lose some, but being the best and accepting the good with the bad, hey, you're golden right there, right?
Well, losing is not a loser. Okay. Some people say if you lose, you're a loser. That's not true. Losing is not necessarily being a loser. Losing is learning. They both start with L, and so I like to learn through losing, because I overcome, I change things, I mix things up, and so that I learn from my losing. So don't think of losing as a loser. Losing is part of competition. It's part of becoming better at what you're doing. So just because you lose doesn't mean you're a loser.
Thanks, Ray. You can join the conversation, folks, at toughthingsfirst.com. This has been a special edition of the Tough Things First podcast, which you can find there at toughthingsfirst.com and also on Ray's YouTube channel. Your questions and comments are always welcome. Follow Ray Zinn on X-Twit, as I like to call it, Facebook and LinkedIn, and of course, pick up Ray's books, Tough Things First, and as you know, the Zen of Zen 1, 2, and 3, and on sale now, Essential Leadership, the Essential Leader, this one right here behind me, is the 10 essential attributes and fundamentals that make up the Essential Leader. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Rob.
You've been listening to Tough Things First, candid talk with Silicon Valley's longest-serving CEO, Ray Zinn. Drop by the contact page at toughthingsfirst.com for more about the book, more podcasts, and links to Ray's Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn pages to keep up with Ray Zinn's wisdom daily.